Bargani Hotel. Praise the Lord, everybody. And I'm happy to say Jambo because we are here, and welcome to African Tendencies with Baba Love, where we are a captivating podcast dedicated to bridging the gap between Pan-Africanism, Christianity, and nation building. And we're so happy to be here in Nairobi, Kenya, with this podcast and this episode. In this episode, we're dealing with your voice, our strength, coming straight from Nairobi here in Kenya. We have some wonderful guests with us today as we talk about the voices and the strengths that are in our community. And in our community, not only in America, but as you can see, we're right here in Nairobi, Kenya, on the continent of Africa. We're right in the heart of East Africa. And so we're super excited about today's broadcast. And so let me introduce our guests with me today. Here we have Kingsley Kwanga, and his organization is Mosber Investment Limited. And then over here we have Wycliffe Elevate. And he's here with his company, and we're super excited because we're being filmed by this wonderful, young, energetic crew called Abash Pixels Limited, who's filming us, and so we're super excited to be here. So we're gonna get right into it, and we're gonna let Wycliffe and Kingsley and Wycliffe kind of tell us a little bit about their organizations, about themselves, and also about their organizations. So we'll start with Kingsley over here. Tell us a little bit about your organization, Kingsley, and anything else you want to share as an introduction. Then we're going to get into some questions.
I'm Kingsley Kwang again, so from Mosber Investment. I'll be doing a brief introduction about my company. Mosber Investment, we started about 4 years ago when I finished high school. And then we met with 5 members from my various high school mates. We started a company so that we can generate more school fees to our pockets and also support the climate change in Africa. So Mosber Investment, it's a remote free job. We do outsource for tenders from institutions, colleges and schools. And then from there, we also do branding in hotels, and we do branding for shower gels and soap for hotels. Mosber Investment, we currently support the Nairobi Rich Environment, Nairobi County. We give her when she has to go for an event, maybe in other institutions, we give her about 100 to 200 trees so that she can go and support the climate change. Thank you.
Thank you, Kingsley, for that introduction. I can't wait to get more in depth and have some conversation. Now we're going to move to Wycliffe to give a little introduction about what he does, and then we'll wrap back around with some conversation.
Thank you. I'm Wycliffe from Mondio Nyango. My company is Elevate. Elevate is a marketing agency that helps company to grow. We specialize in helping companies to reach their target audience, generate quality leads, and drive sales. We specialize on B2B marketing, and with that, we have so far helped some companies to achieve their marketing goals. Yeah, that's what we do, and we hope that we will help more companies to grow.
Thank you both, and I'm so happy again to have both of you here, especially to have this conversation, because one of the pieces and the reasons for African Tendencies is to bridge this gap of having dialogue and conversation with our people here on the continent and those in the diaspora, because as you know, Africa controls the world. It actually runs the world, right? And so even from an American standpoint, African Tendencies is about creating dialogue so we can begin to bridge gaps, to build a daraja, that bridge, a gap, so that especially young people here, young people like yourself, and young people in America can connect, not only in just talking, but also in trade, understanding how we can create markets that are controlled by people that look like us, right? And so this particular podcast is a time to kind of amplify those questions and stories and those initiatives, right? Because it's important that you guys share what you guys doing here, so the folk back in America and in the diaspora can learn what you're doing and to see how they can connect and do business with you, or to do advocacy with you, whatever it is, right? And so that's why this is important, and we want to lift up the youthfulness that is happening on the continent and throughout the continent, right? When you look at the numbers of the continent, the age difference, right? We want people to see that and be able to connect. So my first question is, how in each one of your businesses or your organizations and your work, how have you connected to Pan-Africanism? Or have you connected to Pan-Africanism? Or from a diasporic position, how have you positioned your company to kind of see the importance of connecting globally? And globally meaning not just Africa, the continent itself, but from the diaspora. Wherever you find African people, how have your company do you have that built in?
Okay, on my side, specifically we do more the Pan-Africanism comes in institutions. So we do try, okay, if you go to different institutions in Kenya, you will find different cultures, different people from different nations.
Okay.
So we tend to give the best quality of whatever we have to them, and then we tend to do a lot of networking between ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. What up?
Okay, with our company Elevate, being it's a company that hasn't been around for a very long time, but the thing is our target market is broader than only Kenya and Africa only. We target globally. We can deliver services all over. It doesn't matter which people from different countries, we can just assist. It doesn't matter of any race you are from, but we are ready to work, and we have better ways of assisting companies as long as we get to understand what your challenges, the challenges that your company is going through.
So it's important that we understand that to create a new paradigm shift for how we do business, right? So my next question would be, what would you say to, for instance, African American young people? I ain't gonna ask you your age on camera. I don't know your ages, but I know you're younger than me, so I know that part. So I call you young. So what would you say to a young aspiring company, say in America or the United States? How would you speak to them as it relates to what's going on the continent? And to give them, if you was going to give a pitch to them to get involved with young African businesses here in Kenya, what would you say to them? We'll start with Wycliffe over here. What would you say to them? How would you encourage them?
So how they can get involved with the business in Africa. Yeah. So what I can say as Africans, we have new talents, and I think with what we have, we can help businesses grow.
The first thing I'm sure about, when you look at African countries, main especially the Kenyan country, if we speak about our country, we are a third world country. So the United States was where we are, it was there maybe 100 years ago, but we are still striving. But when we came to the digital world, we started connecting through networks, through social media. I think networking is the way to go. If you do network from Kenya to USA, we network from South Africa to Rwanda to Tanzania, that makes importance in communication of businesses. If there's a product which I want to buy from the States and it's not available in Kenya, I can contact somebody in the States who I know, who is a young guy like me, a young student, a young aspirant to do maybe a career, and then from him or she can export her things to me, and then I can also export my things to him. So that's how we should be doing network. It's a young nation. Also, US, it's not a young nation, but if you look at the people who will hold this nation, the young generations.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why I really need more the young people to network a lot.
Good. Now, I got to be myself, especially on my podcast. Now I'm going to introduce some new language to you.
Yeah, sure.
Stop saying third world. let's colonize this mentality. Don't say third world, majority world. More people in the world look like me and you than anybody else. So don't say third world. Everybody give a hand clap for that. All right, don't say that anymore. All right?
Sure.
You got to change the language. Right, we're the majority world. Right. So anyway, but good stuff. So that's good because, and that segues to my last question, kind of, right? Because most people in America, and even American blacks, right, think of Africa as a total third world. Think that everybody live in huts over here. That mentality is still there. So you gotta stop using type of terms so you can change the narrative, because you know that's not true. Right? You know? So part of that is changing our language and how we see each other. And that's why Pan-Africanism and coming from an African-centered mindset is very, very important. And it starts with you guys, because y'all are young and the world is you guys, right? And so last question is, right, your business, if someone wanted to invest in your business, right, how do they go about doing it? How do someone in America in particular, because that's where we're from, but this goes globally, but what are the steps for someone to want to invest? What you got?
Okay, when it comes to investing in my business, Elevate, being it's a startup, I believe that if I found interesting plans, we can meet up and agree on the terms on how we can work, and at the same time to help me come up, help me in assisting me to get the resources that we need to grow the company so that we're able to make it a profitable company in the future. Because right now we are trying to bring it up. So far we are making profit, but not really that much, but we can help it to grow so that it can be a global market, a global company.
The first thing about my business, I trust God with my all, because I have to give him all what I have.
That's right.
And then he will support me in a lot of ways.
Good. Yeah, you brought up the environment piece, and that's another connecting point for those of us in the diaspora. Is understanding that we only get one. You're only going to get one Earth, right? And we have to take care of that one Earth. So this is the last question for sure.
Okay.
It's my podcast. I can do what I want to do. This is the last question for sure. If you could dream, you can dream. You can have it any way you want it, right? Tell us how you would.
Personally, I love nature.
Okay.
I like an environment with a lot of trees, and if possible, the weather, a nice climate. Yeah. So my world, I would prefer someone that is with more trees, a river or a lake around, so that I would get to experience the nature. Because I like the nature. I like to walk barefoot on the grass. Yeah, I love the experience of being natural. Yeah. So that's my world.
Thank you. That's Wyclef's world. Y'all hear that? African tendency with Baba Love. Now, Kingsley, give us your world, man. It's your world, Kingsley.
Yeah, sure. Okay. When I think of my world, I think my world should be also more of nature, more of environmental, more of a clean environment, and things are more to vegans. So I would love to have a lot of fruits in the farm, yeah, and then some birds singing somewhere where there's a river. So yeah,
good.
I think it's more of how the Garden of Eden was.
Garden of Eden, hey.
Yeah. Also to add on that, maybe.
Oh, they ain't talking now. They're in their world. Talk about your world, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is that we need to encourage one another to plant more trees, that we're able to help our environment, considering that we have several challenges like the global warming right now. So if we can use the initiatives that we can use to counter it, it will be the best.
Thank you. Well, that's about it. I pray that this episode will bless you. African Tendencies with Baba Love could not take place without some wonderful people behind the scenes. So I want to lift up our producer for this episode, Shanice Wagura. Wagui, hey, Sister Shanice. She also serves as executive coordinator for Mbele Leadership Foundation. So she wears many hats. So super to have her. And you know this couldn't be possible without the lovely, beautiful, chocolate, Dr. Tammy Love, my better half, in the background doing that. So super happy to her. And then this also couldn't take place. This young man, his name, I don't know his name because they playing in the background. So I'm just going to call him what everybody else call him. Bosh, our director for this episode. Give him a hand for doing a wonderful job. And again, thank you all for tuning in and watching this episode of African Tendencies with Baba Love. God bless you.